Right, guys, how are we doing today? Right, before I go out for my meeting, I've decided to make this video. I've been getting quite a bit of information from Zimbabwe, and the problem that we've got in Zimbabwe is much bigger than we all thought it was. The problem in Zimbabwe is actually a huge crisis that involves almost everybody that we see in our government. Most of the senior members of our government are involved in this huge octopus of corruption that is in Zimbabwe right now. And one of the reasons why it's going to be difficult for our government to deal with this huge octopus that is being called Queen Bee in Zimbabwe is that almost everybody who is in power is involved with this animal, this creature. And so for them to clean it up, it probably means cleaning out the whole of the Zimbabwean government. Now, those of you who know me know that I don't talk politics. I deliberately stay out of politics because I believe that we as a citizenry must support our leadership. And we must support our leadership in order for us to have direction in the nation. But unfortunately, I don't even know if we've got a leadership. I don't even know if the leadership that is in Zimbabwe is leading us, the people of Zimbabwe, or they are leading their families and their own personal interests. And so this is why I'm making this video today. What I've been told is that there is a division in our government. When they took power last year in November, there was an agreement by the members that took part in cleaning out the old government that we need change. Guys, some of you have made a lot of money, you have been doing a lot of illegal stuff, and you have become millionaires in the process. So now let's have a new dispensation. Those of you who've made your millions, clean up, leave what you've been doing, and let's start on a new leaf. Take your money, start legitimate businesses, and let's move forward. This is what was agreed. However, some of those members have become so used to making money in corrupt ways that when it came into this year where they're supposed to be cleaning up and taking on new activities, they refused to clean up their acts. So they continued to print money, they continued to use this money to buy foreign currency and all these other activities that were happening. And mechanisms that were used during Rhodesia to smash the sanctions then are the mechanisms that were being used now by the cartels that have been operating. And these cartels involve black Zimbabweans, Zimbabweans in government, permanent secretaries, senior Zimbabweans in government, together with white, very wealthy white people and Indians that are in Zimbabwe. These are the people that are controlling this syndicate. It is not Kuda Chagwirei who is controlling this syndicate. It is actually controlled by very powerful white Zimbabweans, white Rhodesians, together with a few people that are in our government. And so when they were told to stop, they didn't want to stop. They used this SI 161 or whatever it is to protect themselves and to protect this cartel into the bringing in of fuel and the bringing in of goods and services into Zimbabwe. They were issuing licenses to specific people, and those people that have got licenses to import soya beans, sunflower seeds, and whatever else is needed in Zimbabwe to provide our basics is being brought in by the people that are in this syndicate. They're also the people that are involved in bringing in the fuel. These people then have companies and shelf companies that are sitting in Hong Kong, that are sitting outside Zimbabwe, where all the money is channeled to and where they make all these profits and invest those profits overseas. So when they were told that let's clean up, guys, let's stop the dirty business that has been taking place, Mthuli Ncube was brought in to put pressure and to clean up. And when Mthuli Ncube started bringing out some of the policies that he brought out, those people got angry. And that's why immediately, because they are the ones that bring in the stuff that is required in Zimbabwe, they closed the taps. The purpose of closing the taps was to put pressure on Mthuli Ncube and to basically show Mthuli Ncube and whoever else is giving him the instructions that he's getting that we will collapse this economy, and when we collapse this economy, we can actually get the government removed by popular protest onto the streets. And this left the people that are sitting in government, from the president through to Mthuli not having much of an option on how to deal with these people. Because some of the people that are supposed to deal with this syndicate have been involved with this syndicate. This syndicate has got information on senior government members. And those people are therefore scared to do something to this syndicate because of the information that this syndicate has got about people that are in the system. So no one can touch them. Right now, they are going to clean up the Reserve Bank, but they are not going to arrest those people. They are not going to bring them into a court because they don't want some of the information and knowledge that these men and women have to be ventilated in a court, because it will implicate a lot of people who are senior members in our government. When we understand the gold smelting in Zimbabwe, they say that the gold smelting in Zimbabwe is controlled by our president. He is the one who controls the gold smelting, and most of the gold that is bought in Zimbabwe is bought by fidelity printers, but from fidelity printers, nobody knows where that gold goes to. Some people say that that gold leaves the country and goes to places like Singapore, where it ends up in people's private accounts. At the Reserve Bank, people were not only printing Zimbabwean bond notes, they were actually printing private consignments for themselves in the Zimbabwean Reserve Bank, and that money was coming in through Mozambique and South Africa so that it can go straight into the black market. Those people were then able to take 1:1 US dollars that come into the system from the sales of our tobacco, the sales of our gold, and these are the syndicates that have been getting filthy rich in Zimbabwe. If you understand that our country has created $9 billion of debt over the past 5 years, but we cannot see where that $9 billion has gone to. There are no new roads, there are no new bridges, our hospitals have not been upgraded. So the question is, where has that money gone? It has gone into private accounts sitting in Singapore. Now, I know a lot of people, when they hear Singapore, they think that it's simple. It is just the Mugabes who are in Singapore. No. Singapore is where a lot of international corporations are based. You've heard of a company called Trafigura that was associated with the president, a company called Trafigura that was associated with the Command Agriculture System. It is based in Singapore. It is a Singaporean company. So the question is, what are the true connections of this Singapore? We are hearing big names of very serious white business people, leading white business people that have been supporting ZANU-PF, white business people that have been controlling the fuel system, part and parcel of these syndicates that we're hearing about. Then there are permanent secretaries, senior technocrats within the government system that are also part and parcel of making the loopholes of making this animal and octopus function in Zimbabwe. I'm angered. Because what I'm being told is that it is very difficult to clean up this thing. But the problem is that the army and people like Chiwenga are saying they want the system to be cleaned out. They want things to come to normalization. Hence, they are the people that are behind people like Lumumba. Lumumba is being protected by the military and being protected by the military intelligence to start cleaning out what is happening and coming up with the truth that he's coming up with. Lumumba is not necessarily working for the government, because it seems like there's a division in our government. There are certain members of our government that want the system to continue. There are certain members of our government that don't want to act because they're scared to be exposed by this so-called octopus that knows a lot about our government officials. But I understand that the military wing of our government is sick and tired of this and wants a normalization of things. There have been threats that they even feel that if necessary, certain people must be killed for things to become normalized in Zimbabwe. So the corruption is deep. Our own senior officials who are supposed to act, who are supposed to have executive powers to clean up what is happening in Zimbabwe, don't have the power because they've also been part of this syndicate. They don't have the power because they've got their own corrupt activities that they've been involved in that don't allow them to touch this animal, this queen bee, who is much more than one individual. A queen bee that involves the Indians that are buying the gold from the Makorokoza, the Indians that are going around with Reserve Bank money to go and buy the gold onto the streets and take it and bringing it in, and we don't know where that gold goes to. What we know is that our Reserve Bank does not have gold reserves. Fidelity Printers does not have all the gold that it has been buying. So the question is, where is this gold going? So we have a situation where a country is being run by men, women who do not have principles. Our country is being run by people that are running the country for their own private affairs. We don't know the contracts that have been signed. We don't know the deals that have been signed. We don't know where these traffic goods have come in. We don't know where the $9 billion that has been printed over the past 5 years has gone. This is problematic because that is your pension, the pension of your parents being wiped out by the choices of individuals. So these individuals took the US dollar rate up. They held US dollars out of the economy. They are the ones that had the bond notes that were buying US dollars at 600 so that they could collapse the economy because they did not want to stop their illegal activities. When they were told that it's time for us to stop and clean up, they didn't want to clean up. They are willing to collapse the whole economy. They are willing to kill the savings of our parents, to kill the savings of Zimbabweans and pensions of Zimbabweans, wiping it out overnight just by playing with the rates because they've got so much power. Why? Why have we let people become so powerful in our country? And why are journalists not talking about this? Because every journalist in Zimbabwe is on the payroll of these people. They are paying every journalist, they are paying bloggers, they are paying everybody. So we don't have a system in Zimbabwe. We do not have an independent press. We do not have a press that serves our interests. We've just got people that are serving their pockets. From the senior executives in our government all the way down to the individuals that are technocrats in the department, all of them are part and parcel of this sophisticated system of corruption that they are serving their own interests. They are partnering with Rhodesians using old Rhodesian structures, old Rhodesian methods of breaking sanctions to enrich themselves as individuals. This is problematic. And that's why I'm now speaking. I'm speaking because we are not dealing with a government. I'm not falling behind a government that I'm supposed to support and so that we can be able to have a government that serves our interests in unity with these people. We're serving individuals. Individuals who are serving their children's pockets. Individuals that are serving their own pockets. Individuals that are already wealthy but continue to want to be much richer. When you see the list of the most richest people in Zimbabwe, a lot of them, 9 of them are white people. There's one black man who's tried Masiwa. That is the true list of who is rich in Zimbabwe. And those people are said to be part and parcel of this cartel. We've got a corrupt and ideologically bankrupt government that is partnered with Rhodesians, that is partnered with white men that do not belong to Zimbabwe to take money out of our country, impoverish the Zimbabweans in order to enrich themselves outside. And they are black Zimbabweans, they are black leaders, they are people who went to the struggle, who are involved with them in these big companies. I'm pissed off. And that is why I'm putting mud into the water. Because apparently our government is divided into two. We've got a government sitting on one side and we've got a military sitting on one side. The military wants to clean up this government and the government is hesitant to clean up because they've got dirt on their hands. They cannot deal with the octopus that they created. They cannot deal with the octopus that they've been getting enriched from all these years. This is problematic. And maybe Zimbabweans need to go on the street again to protest and to ensure that this corruption is taken out of our country, because without that, it's never going to end. Our own government officials, the leaders of the country, cannot take these people to book because they are afraid of the files that these people have on them. Our own government cannot take these people to book because they've given all the monopoly of bringing in the oil, bringing the food, bringing in the petrol, bringing in the fuel to a few individuals who, if those few individuals who own the tanks, who own the storage facilities that belongs to our government, are the same people that are going to sabotage the economy. And now what's more critical is that right now we're looking at the privatization of state-owned enterprises in Zimbabwe, parastatals. The people that have been given the responsibility to privatize those parastatals are part and parcel of this Queen Bee. They are part and parcel of this very same syndicate. The technocrats that are sitting there are part of this syndicate. We need a total overhaul of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. We need a total reconstruction of the structures of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. They cannot be responsible for the buying of the gold in Zimbabwe, for regulating the banking system, for regulating lending, and also for policing the banking that is taking place in Zimbabwe. They can also not be the men and women who are responsible for printing our money under these corrupt circumstances. We need an oversight body that is going to be able to be an oversight to what the Reserve Bank does. I hope you're as pissed off as me. I don't speak politics, but we are no longer talking about politicians and leaders here. We are talking about criminals who don't give a damn about you and me, who don't give a damn about trying to build a better Zimbabwe. I've been making voice notes about how we Zimbabweans are not united in trying to build Zimbabwe, but our leaders are not building Zimbabwe with us. Among themselves, there are divisions. We've got leaders who want to build Zimbabwe, but we've got leaders that still want to cover up their asses for what they did when they were pillaging Zimbabwe, together with these foreign elements, together with these Britons and Rhodesians that they were busy pillaging the nation with for their own benefit and the benefit of their children. Today they can't clean up Zimbabwe because they're corrupt. Today they can't come to us and tell us the truth, and they cannot come up with a core value system to bring us to unite with each other because they are trying to cover up their own asses. Some are not trying to cover up their own asses, they're still trying to make more money. That pisses me off. Because that's what it means, that all the people that I've been fighting with who say we cannot put money into this thing as long as other people are going to extract money from that thing, they are right. Those people who are self-centered and selfish are right, because the leaders themselves are not leading. They're looking after their families. They're looking after themselves. It's time that we do something as Zimbabweans. And I don't know what we've got the power to do. But at least one thing I know is that they say that the military wants a change. They say that the military told them that, guys, Zapera, Gatijichinja, Makaita Marienu, bring that money, invest it into Zimbabwe, start making Zimbabwe a better place. Because if $9 billion was created by our Reserve Bank, and we can't see that money, it means that that money was created to go into people's pockets. And after it's gone into people's pockets, we haven't paid IMF debt. We haven't paid for any of our obligations internationally. We are still standing where we're standing, but we are going to have to pay as Zimbabweans for that debt with our taxes and other percentages that are being charged. This 2% that is being charged to the Zimbabweans is to cover monies that were made by private individuals. It's unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. It's bullshit. And so AC is trying to clean up a mess that's bigger than him. There is some things he can tell us, but there's some things that he can't tell us because some of his bosses are involved in there. They are tainted with the same brush.